Hi guys, and welcome back. Another episode of Euro Series Sideline Talk. What a mad 24 hours of football yesterday. But yeah, they definitely saved the best until last. We're going to be touching on that. We're going to go over England's game on Tuesday night. Just basically all the last games of the group stages, and then we're going to give our predictions for the last 16. I'm joined today by the hosts Lee and Sam. Miller, how are we, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad.
Repping the England shirt again, I see.
Yeah, repping the England shirt and
full of confidence. I like it.
Down, man. I can't wait to get out of this fucking flat, boys.
I was going to say, yeah. For those of you that don't know, Miller has been isolating, so we haven't seen him in a while. We're yet to watch a football game together as well, surprisingly. But I'm sure we'll see you soon, mate. Not long to go. Kingman Kingham, how are we? You all good?
Yo, all good, mate. Ready to talk about football.
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, isn't it? I think the 2 days, the 2 days are going to go rather slow. Obviously, we've got a break now until Saturday from the European football, but we'll get touching on it anyway. Monday night, Belgium beating Finland, qualifying with ease. I think that was expected. Getting 3 wins out of 3. Not many teams actually managed to do that, and then Austria beating Ukraine. I'm not going to go into this whole because I know Sam. We touched on it Sunday. Of the top 4 teams that finished third going through. But Lee, just quickly, because you wasn't obviously on the stream on Sunday, what do you make of that? Of the fact that only two teams out of the people that finished third went out. Do you think it's making the game a little bit less exciting, or do you think it's maybe making teams a little bit more relaxed?
I'm a little bit on the fence, to be honest with you, Dan. I've always been a stickler for sticking to like old formats, don't change. Just for nostalgic reasons, really. But I think it has added a bit of extra spice to. Just laughing at that comment. It has added a little bit of extra spice to a lot of the games. Like it's obviously come down to the last group game, and there's still so much to play for because 3 teams go through. Like you only have to look at last night's game for that, where I think the league positions changed. Every single team swapped positions
5 minutes,
at some point during the 90 minutes. So I mean, you can't say it hasn't added excitement because it has. It's just made some meaningful games a bit more meaningful.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the fact that like teams like Ukraine and stuff are still in it now. It's quite. I think the fact that like if you win one game, you're pretty much safe to go through. I think that's what sort of just spun me. But yeah, we're going to touch on last night's games later on. So yeah, as well as that, obviously the one thing we've got to talk about is Denmark qualifying. The fact they lost their first 2 games and then went on to completely hammer Russia and get through. I think it was quite the justice that we all wanted to see, considering how they started on. But yeah, massive congrats to them. I think them, and we're going to touch on last 16 shortly, but I think Wales and Denmark has got so much potential, considering how many goals have sort of spun through in their games in the first lot. But considering what happened with Ericsson, it's great to see, and I'm sure he'll be watching from home recovering and proper happy for the boys. But let's move on. So we'll go to the sort of games that are more relevant to us, more sort of convenient. I'll go to you first, Miller. How impressed were you on Tuesday night of England? Obviously, there was a few changes there due to the fact that players were breaking rules. I don't want to go into it too much; it's too political. But there was bound to be some changes, and there was even more than what we sort of expected. Do you think it was them starting to maybe prove a point? Obviously, because the first 2 games were rather dull, not so exciting. Not too much going on, but I always get asked this, itchy nose boy.
I'm all good. You want to have a little scratch?
Yeah, I always love to have a little scratch. But yeah, what was your take on the game on Tuesday night, Mildog?
Well, I think it was hard actually to get into that game, to be mate. I think it's a standard performance, wasn't it? There weren't really anyone out there pushing the boat out. I was a bit angry not to see Sancho come on at any point. I don't know what towards the but other than that, yeah, it's just pretty boring. I mean, Hendo, good to see him get minutes for you, Lee, I suppose. But other than that, I still can't get excited. I mean, yeah, I'm wearing the shirt and everything like that. I'm just trying to force it on myself to get excited for this team. But I think realistically, let's be real. I mean, we've got a fucking tough task against Germany, and obviously, if we get through that, we've got a good little route to the final. But I think I just feel like there's not much excitement in the way we play, is there? Realistically, as well. I mean, it was good. Also, a little point there. It was good to see Maguire. I think he actually solidified the back line a little bit more than Mings did in there. Other than that, I can't really get excited, mate. Like I said. I don't know about
it is different this year. Like I was touching on this with Danny, funny enough, like I just think the excitement's gone. Considering we've just come out of a lockdown, you'd expect there to be a bit more passion and excitement around, but I don't see it. Yeah. Maybe it is based on the first two performances. Obviously, knockout stages is going to be a complete different ball game. Hopefully, we see a lot more grit and intensity from the players. Lee, what was your take on? Obviously, we're going to get into like the sort of players in a minute because I know there's two that stood out at least. Perhaps 3-4. But yeah, what was your thoughts after the game on Tuesday night? Are you feeling a bit more confident going in next week?
Yeah, I'm actually really positive about it, to be honest, mate. Quite the opposite of what Miller's saying. It just seems to be, I don't know what it is with this country's fans, but it's just maybe because of the way the Premier League is, but there seems to be some sort of obsession that this England team has to be fast-paced, free-flowing football. If you look at successful teams in the past, they don't play like that. Like even if you look at, everyone says, "Oh, France dominated the World Cup in 18 when they won it." They didn't. If you look at like the final they played against Croatia, they had like half of Croatia's shots. Croatia had more possession. It's just nice to see England being professional, just doing the job. Yeah, to be honest. Really. Don't get me wrong. We all want exciting football and stuff, but I'm sure that will come in the knockouts. Group stages are never usually that memorable.
Yeah, I think it's just the lack of goals. I think it is the lack of goals.
Yeah, the lack of goals, but we've done the job. That's all that matters, really. If you look at, if this wasn't England and it was another team we was watching, we'd be saying, yeah, they look strong. They haven't conceded a goal. They're unbeaten. They've won 2 out of 3 games, drawing the other.
Yeah, I mean,
we seem to be obsessed that England should be blowing away teams 4-0, 5-0.
Look at like France though, as well. We're going to touch on France in a little while, but look at France. They've not technically turned up to the expectations that were had. I mean, they drew with Hungary, and they don't seem to be getting all the stuff that we're getting. But I see G's in as well. Thank you for tuning in. But I mean, yeah, maybe our expectations are too high, and like we said, different ball game in the next round. We're going to have to prove a point. We can't settle for a 0-0 or a 1-0 at any stage. So. But obviously, Raheem Sterling on the score sheet again. Pleased for him. And I thought Jack Grealish sort of turned up and proved a point to Southgate, which we all wanted to see because so many people have been calling out for him to get that starting position. But the problem up there, the world's the oyster. Go on, mate.
I'm going to say quickly, I don't know if you were going to touch on it or not, but with Grealish being withdrawn early, do you think that was a sign of Southgate potentially putting him in contention for the next game to start, or what?
I think next week. I mean, we'll go into the Germany game in a bit more depth later on, but I think the problem with the fact is at the back we're lacking, and we're so full of depth up top. He's gonna, like we said before, I'm preaching for the choir probably, but you're going to upset someone. You're going to upset one fan or two. You know, you're going to have an Aston Villa fan that wants to see Grealish in there. You're going to have a certain few players that are even fans now that will want Sterling remaining because he's scored our 2 goals of the competition. And then we're going to go on to him in a minute, Starboy Saka, who, let's be honest, proved a point more than anyone on Tuesday night. So I don't get how you can really fit them all in. Obviously, Mount's going to come back. I didn't think he was playing badly when he was in the team. So yeah, I don't get how he's really going to keep everyone happy. It's an impossible position for him to be in, really. But
yeah, at the end of the day, he's got to not worry about keeping people happy. He's got to do
he's got to do what you've seen. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's seen the training, so he knows what works best.
I mean, that first half the other night, I thought the 3 behind Kane looked exciting. It was we were making chances. Second half was boring as hell, but we saw the game out. But that first half was good. We could have had more goals. Sterling hit the post. Kane missed that really good chance. You know, we could have been more than 1-0.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on playing Kane through the actual bad almost?
Yeah, I was going to say let's go to Kane next because again he's firing blanks. I don't know. I did a poll on the socials last week, and to be honest, it went I thought people would still have his back, but a lot of people were turning against him. A lot of, like, we obviously saw a different lineup on Tuesday night where he had a bit more, he had a bit more different end product around him. So Saka sort of and Grealish turning up, and people have said maybe it's who's around him. He's not getting enough chances. He got a chance, which Lee touched on, a great chance, nearly scored. Do you think we're going to maybe, with the rotation in these players now, and obviously if people like Grealish and say Sancho or Saka do come in, do you think we're going to start seeing him scoring goals? Because the pressure is surely on his head now, isn't it? I'll go to you first, Lee.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm bored of talking about Harry Kane. He's always going to play. He's always going to start. He's the captain. He's one of the best strikers in the world at the end of the day. Whether he's turning it on at the moment or he's not, he's always going to play. So I don't know why fans are obsessed about talking about whether he's bad or not. He's always going to play.
Yeah, he's not bad. I think it is just he's got too much weight on his shoulders. I think the weight on his shoulders are ridiculous.
Maybe it's just a bit leggy. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm not a football manager. I don't know the ins and outs of the game like a professional would. I can't put my finger in it. Just got to hope he turns up for the knockout. Turns up for the knockout games.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like I said, if he scores a couple of goals against Germany, it's all forgotten, isn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to talk about this geezer because absolutely unreal. I mean, his first start for England, and he was just different class. I think he was just on another level in that game. And I'm not just pleased for him. I think the fact that he's going to get very little time in an England shirt in this tournament, especially now as we go into the big things, and he's just got so much competition there. Like, even when he stands out, he may not get selected. There's obviously a big question now with obviously Sterling scoring 2 goals, Saka and Grealish both having good performances. How do you fit them all in with Foden? And again, like with your Mount and Kane, it's just, and obviously you got Rashford and Sancho just sitting there on the bench. So
realistically, though, Dan.
Do you start him next week? Obviously, we'll go on to Germany shortly, like in more detail. But just a very quick, like, round the table. Miller, I'm going to ask you because obviously being an Arsenal fan, but this is obviously not being biased at all. But do you think he put on a performance which gives him Southgate a bit of a, turn the head and think actually he's playing better than any one of them? Obviously, we don't know what goes on in training, but based on what we saw Tuesday night, he's got to be, to me, he's up there over at least 4 of the players I just mentioned.
I mean, obviously, as a non-biased point of view, I don't think he'll start. I think he should, but realistically, I don't feel like he's be able to overtake the likes of Foden. Foden had a good last 2 games. Foden played all right. I mean, the first game as well, with Foden hit the post, that goes in. That's him pretty much cementing it.
Coming off a rested game as well, isn't he? So, like, Foden's going to be raring to go. He's just been rested. Lee, what are your thoughts? Would obviously not what Southgate would do, but would you put him in your starting lineup on Tuesday? Do you think it's maybe something different that could help us against the Germany defence?
Do you know what? I hate to blow smoke up an Arsenal player, to big up an Arsenal player, because I know how much you boys get carried away with it. But he was quality the other night. Stop this now. He was quality the other night. He deserves to start quite comfortably over the names you've mentioned. He goes above Sancho. He goes above Rashford. The only issue I think is Foden, is whether he starts above Foden. It's between him and Foden. He's 100% played himself into the reckoning now. I mean, if you swap him for another, the other night, hang on, I'm still finishing my sentence. If you swapped him for another player, the other night, no one else would have made that turn and that run that he made to set up for the goal. If he doesn't start, he'll come on if we're not winning, I think. And I think he's gonna get more minutes as this tournament goes on, as long as we get through.
Yeah. I mean, like Sam mentioned, which we'll touch on in a bit, we've got an easy run in. So someone like him with the pace he's got, he's so prolific as well. Got a question there before we move on from Saka in England. Where is his best position in this England team? It's got to be out wide on the left. It's got to be
wide right, I would have said.
Or wide right, even wide right, even wide left. To be honest, I think he's a threat. Yeah, out on the wing. To be honest, I wouldn't like to see him anywhere else. I think because he's got the pace, he can cut into the middle. If you put him in the middle, he hasn't sort of got that opportunity to do that. But yeah, I agree. I think that's the problem there. Is Foden has been playing out wide, and it's a big call if you start wide right in England, Chris. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's definitely wide right. I think he runs in behind that no one else seems to be making in an England shirt. He's got the pace, he's got the trickery. I wouldn't
like. I've seen a lot of people say start him on like fullback. No, not for me.
Yeah, I think you need your more experienced players at the back, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like Germany have got obviously decent wingers in. Talking of Arsenal, Gnabry. So I think you need. I'm not saying Saka will do a terrible job, but if he's going to play, it's just got to be up top because he's got so much more about him in attacking than defence. The difference was each time. Just having a read at this. Different was each time he picked up the ball, he went forward a bit and tried to make something happen.
Yeah,
probably would be dropped there. Yeah, so
exactly
true.
what I was trying to say. Completely agree with Jorginho there. He's just so much more direct, and he's actually there's so much difference to have someone running in behind.
Yeah, I know. I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do because it's such a big challenge for Southgate now. Because when players like that prove a point, and we'll touch like Sancho. How has he been left out so much? I just want to quickly ask why you think he's not getting in. Do you think they're saying he's just not doing in training or he doesn't fit the team? Kingham.
I thought it was a bit hot. Southgate's comments, I think he said it was a bit harsh when he said something about lacking big game experience. But every time
strange one, isn't it? Such a strange one.
I mean, how do you expect players to lack big game experience if you don't give them that experience? It's every time I've seen him in English shirt, he's sort of flattered to deceive. Really, he's not done anything. So I can see, or maybe Southgate's seen something in training. He's not been as good as the other boys.
Yeah, maybe.
But I've never really seen him turn it on in an English shirt.
Hang on! I just realised we've got a nice little guest. How have we not realised that? He's been here. Here he is.
Hello, Scotty.
1, 2, 3, 4. Looking back on where we first
You're the one. You still turn me on. Football coming home again.
What a boy. Yes, Keith.
You should have told her.
Mate, I've been here for about half an hour. What's going on? Listening to you boys chatting shit.
Why are you cracking up so much? How many beers you had?
Scott, you just come from the booze or what?
Nah. Anyway, I was listening to your chat. Saka, mate, he's got to start for me.
Yeah, good boy. Yeah, I thought you were going to come on and completely, and I thought he was going to come on and completely annihilate Saka. I was going to say, get him off, kick from studio.
Obviously, Mason Mount ain't going to be able to play. So I think Grealish takes that position, and then I think he starts with Sterling and Saka. But then obviously Phil Foden drops out. But I mean, as much as Phil Foden he's an absolute he's quality, mate. I love him. He hasn't really kind of done too much, has he? Like Saka came on in one game, mate, and fucking lit it up.
Yeah.
Even in the warm-up, like Saka, in that warm-up game they had in the friendly, Saka was quality scored, didn't he? He played really well. Sancho in the warm-ups, he played one game, didn't really do much.
Well, that's an interesting comment from Dina about like he hasn't like the golden assist number Sancho has. But he gets like that's what I mean. What is it based on? Because it can't be based on current form. Because
we got Declan Rice starting. What big game experience has he had at West Ham? It's for me. It's a shit comment for Southgate, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you made the point previously, Lee, actually about Sancho that he's never really done it on the international stage, has he?
Nah. Not for me.
He needs to be given a chance. He needs to be given a chance to.
Can you risk it in a team like England at the moment? How will you, let's be real, defensively set up how we're kind of playing? He got it right, let's be real.
Yeah. I think against Germany, like I put in the comments, I think I'd like to see probably the change at the back. I think maybe I feel a bit sorry for Tyrone Mings really because he's been an absolute fucking rock, but I think that he
Maguire's
trusts
got to come in,
Maguire.
hasn't he?
He trusts unless
Yeah.
he plays three at the back. Unless he plays the three at the back with Mings, Stones, and Maguire, and then plays.
There's been a lot of talk
I think
about that.
too
Yeah.
defensive, though. Yeah, that's just
And
too,
so,
you
well,
can't-
like,
you can't play.
mate, I mean, the only other option he's got is that he plays the wing backs, sacks off Luke Shaw, and plays Saka at left wing back, and then he can bring Foden back in. But I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
they'll get exposed on that left side. They'd get exposed. That's the problem.
There's a lot of talk about switching to three at the back in there because it matches what Germany do. They play three at the back with wing
Talk-
backs.
I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they do
Talking
that.
of Germany, let's talk about the absolute scenes last night. I mean, I thought some of the games were a bit disappointing, but then this all happened, and I feel like it was mad, the most mixed emotions I've ever had for 90 minutes of two different games. 1 minute we're playing Hungary, 1 minute we're playing France, then we're playing Germany, then we're playing Portugal. But first of all, fair play to Hungary because they put up a fight. Like they got 2 points. They drew against two of the best teams in the competition, for God's sake. Like looking at that group, you wouldn't have thought they had a hope in hell. But they were just hard done by, really. Like they were just pushing above their weight. Sam, what did you make of last night's games, and how were you fit? How many beers did you have, should I say? Because you're obviously sitting in isolation. Football's all you've got going for you. But what did you make of it? Do you think Germany were quite lucky to because they were almost out, weren't they? They went from being second in the group, and then I think 5 minutes before it, they were looking out of the competition.
Yeah, no, yesterday was hard to keep up with everything. 1 minute we're playing, we've got France, then we have Germany, and I couldn't keep up with it. I mean, I didn't know which game to watch in the end. You know, I just kind of flipped through it all. But I think basically I wanted Portugal. I don't know about you boys. I think that would have been the better tie for all of us, realistically. But again, you know, you've got to be big, like we've all said. I think it's a chance for us to do it Germany because we owe them one, don't we? So let's go and have them.
I'm actually quite happy with Germany. I think I'd rather
Yeah,
play Germany
I think if I pick out France, Germany, Portugal, I'd pick Germany. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think they're not the team that they once was, mate. And also, do you know what? I don't even think I'd have liked to have played Hungary because they drew against France. Yeah, they drew against France. They drew against Germany. And you know what we're like with teams that we should absolutely smash up? Like Croatia.
Look at Iceland.
Iceland, we lost to them. Do you know what I mean? So I actually think Germany, like, there's a bit of a rivalry there. Hopefully, I mean, against Scotland, there was a rivalry and we was fucking dog shit. But I'm hoping that, do you know what I mean? I'm hoping that the fucking get fired up against Germany and we smash them 5-1 and the Heskey celebration comes out, mate.
Oh.
This is what I mean about the like everyone's saying, oh, we've got an easy run. You got to look back at Euros 4 years ago, right? 5 years ago. Everyone was saying, oh, Iceland, you know, it's ours. I actually saw on my Facebook the other day, it came up as a memory. And I was there like, oh, bring on Monday, Iceland, let's have it. I mean, that didn't exactly go. Yeah, no, I was. But I felt like electric. I thought, and then everyone's saying about this competition, if we finish second, we may have played Sweden. Yeah, okay, we beat them in the World Cup, but they finished top of their group. And they had Spain and Poland. They had Spain and Poland in their group, and they finished top. So I don't think anyone's just as easy. We'll never go and
Dolby Gerard.
get him singled in here and get a little sing along. But yeah, like you said, we've got a point to prove with Germany, and
yeah. To be fair, I'm looking forward to seeing Germany's away kit. What a thing
it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. We got to make up for this as well. We got to make up for this. Who remembers this?
Is it going to be the Lampard goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. Oh, mate, I was fuming watching that.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's obviously there's a lot of history.
Annoyed just looking at it. I'm actually
a lot of history of England-Germany games, but you know what? It's a new era of football, and you know what? History's there to be written off. I'm excited for it. I think we can do it.
The Neyman in goal.
That was Neuer. Neuer, yeah.
Neuer.
I don't know, however you. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I'll be here all night. But yeah, we want this to happen. Like I looked at this and I thought, cool, those were the days, when you could actually just let them have it. If I see this scoreline,
Michael Owen hat trick.
No one would be going into work Wednesday. I tell you what.
It's just a matter of if we win. Can you imagine the scenes everywhere?
Oh,
yeah. They're gonna be running around the street with the top off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be horrible.
Yeah, some great points made there by Danny, by the way. Like France, I think they got away with one with the penalty decision. I think that was a bit soft. I think the Portugal one was spot on, like with the keeper. You can't come out like that because they're given enough defense. But yeah, for a team 5 minutes from Alicia going through second place, unreal group, didn't disappoint that group. Yeah, a group of death, and it was the gift of it was the gift of the competition, wasn't it? Really, anyone got Matthew Upson's number.
Jesus,
funny one.
Shit house.
Yeah, but
yeah, I'm
going to predict. I'm going to predict 2-1 England. I reckon a late winner. I think that's. It's probably bold. It'll probably go extra time. It'll probably be a typical extra time, and hopefully not penalties because I'm not going for a Germany.
Actually, no, I'm going England on penalties. I'm going England on pen.
Oh, please, what have you said that?
Why not, mate?
I think that then if there's gonna be a late goal for anyone, it would be fucking Germany. You know what we're like.
Yeah, we can't leave it late, can we? Because
nah, mate, they ain't got enough goals in them. Fuck them.
Touching on the France-Portugal as well. Sam, we were talking about this on Sunday. How funny! Literally talking about it on Sunday of him matching the record, and he's gone and done it in the first game, like back at Portugal.
He's getting the golden boot now.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got 5 goals now, and Kane isn't exactly going to beat him to it, but yeah, I think he's going to smash that now. He only needs one more goal to. I think at the moment he's on par with it, 108, and then he will be. He'll probably break it in the next game.
He beat him, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he got 2, didn't he? He got 2.
Yeah, he got 2.
Yeah, he scored 2. Yeah. Sorry, he beat it. Yeah. Yeah, he's incredible. I think World Cup next year, and then he'll retire. That'll be.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Portugal, I know obviously Ronaldo gets all the headlines, but I thought their best player was that Renato Sanchez. And you saw him
definitely. He was quality.
You saw him at Swansea, mate, and he was fucking dog shit, mate.
He was
dog shit at Swansea, and he's just like different.
He's obviously got away to Lille, hit the gym, training hard. He looks the bollocks.
Yeah,
I'd have him in that Liverpool.
Still very young, though, isn't he?
Would you have him for a Wijnaldum replacement, Lee?
Oh, yeah, I think he'd suit us, man. He's strong, he's athletic. He's different, man. I like him. I like him a lot.
And the fact that he's standing out when he's around such midfielders as well, like Portugal have got different class midfield. So fair play to him, like you said.
I was about that. What'd you say?
I think he said you're talking about Fernandes. No, but they've got more than that.
He's been wank.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fernandes. He's fucking so
right,
yeah.
Sorry, I know
he hasn't been great.
Ain't been on pens, is he? So
yeah, that's the thing. You've got Penaldo. Penaldo's taken over.
He's been dropped from the team. Sanchez has come in, took his place, and he ain't getting back in. I don't think.
No, I was about that double save from Patricia as well.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, you seen that he's going for 9 million. I think that's ridiculous.
It's a Roma, isn't it?
Yeah, 9 million. 9 million. He's not even that old.
Maybe we should touch on Pogba for France. He's different.
Yeah. At the moment, he's going to be. I think he's going to be player of the tournament if he carries on in that sort of position. Because
imagine if United actually got a decent defensive mid next to him.
Mate, imagine if Pogba.
Don't you'll get him started on McTominay. You'll get.
Oh mate, go on McTominay, son. No, imagine Pogba at Chelsea alongside Kante.
Nah,
different gravy, mate.
I don't want to because imagine if I'd hate to see that at Chelsea. As much as Pogba being at United is different. If he goes anywhere now, it'll be back out of the Premier League.
It's hard enough doing it for France.
Like
he just looks like a different player with a player like Kante alongside him.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Before we go into like the last 16, I'm just going to get quick predictions. You know, like France, people are saying, "Oh, they haven't turned up." You know, they haven't been filling up to expectation. Do you think it is just a case of the fact that they're through and perhaps they're just relaxed and maybe waiting to and there's more to come from them, or do you think people are being too harsh? Norman, I'll go to you for. Oh, actually, yeah, Lee.
I think they're doing what they've done in the last World Cup, really, just being pragmatic, professional, just doing the job, isn't they? That's what they do.
Yeah,
gears, isn't they?
I think this is what I mean. Everyone, like, I saw people saying yesterday, "Oh, I wouldn't mind France. They don't look all that." It's different kettle of fish when you get in a knockout game because they're going to have to turn up. You know, you can't just sit about and take a draw here or there. They're going to go for it. You know, you're there to win.
I just don't think teams are as good as they used to be. Like, people think of like the Spain team from 2008 and the old Brazil teams where they blew teams away. No team is that good anymore. They just, it's not the same. No one, it's not. Yeah, it's very rare you get teams that blow teams away like that. Maybe Italy are doing bits in their group and look like a bit like that, but it's just not the same anymore.
I don't know whether you boys will agree with me, but I wouldn't even say I'm scared of France. I don't actually think. Like,
I mean, they're still the one team I would have rather not out of all three. Well, out of all four.
But like, obviously they've got a few injuries now with their left backs. Both their left backs are out. So they were playing that Rabiot there. He's suspect. They've obviously had a falling out up top with Giroud and Mbappe. I don't think it's all happy sailing in that camp. But
happy for Benzema to get a goal, though, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean he's a bit of a fucker, but he. Anyway, how long until the rumours start that he's going to Arsenal? That's every season, isn't it?
I can probably find a tweet. I can probably find a tweet now. Probably find a tweet now. Yeah, Conte brings the best out of players. Look at Drinkwater. He looked world class.
Drinkwater got a 30 mil move off that. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's France are trying to integrate Benzema back into the attack. It was a brave call to include him. Griezmann is lost now. Yeah, maybe like that.
Griezmann. No, mate, Griezmann was a joke yesterday. He was so good yesterday, mate. He's just like tracking back 24/7. He's obviously taken the role. He's obviously been moved into a new role by the manager. Mate, I think he was the bollocks, mate. I think he's been quality this tournament. I know he ain't getting the goals, but his work rate around the pitch is an absolute joke. And he's got a decent Barnet, on him as well.
But yeah, looking at the. I mean, Sam spoke on it earlier of like the run-ins and who we can. Just look at our side of it. It's just a joke, isn't it? Like, you look at someone like, I don't know who's in there. Austria. They've got absolutely not. They got Italy next up, who we've just touched on it being the best team in the tournament. And even if they were to somehow get any luck out of that, they've got Belgium, Portugal, France, and Spain all on the same side, and we beat Germany. And we've got. I mean, I don't even think we've got a challenge in there at all, personally. Until the final.
To think people wanted us to finish second for an easy draw, it's not easy at all, is it?
Yeah, we would have ended up on that side. Yeah, well, we would have been there with Czech Republic. It's like I'd rather where we are than Holland.
The Belgium-Portugal game's a bit tasty.
Yeah, I think those top two games there on the left are going to be the most exciting games. I reckon Wales and Denmark at the bottom. I think Belgium and Portugal. I can see England-Germany not being an exciting game, if I'm honest. I hope it is. But
do you know what? Do you know what's going to be the worst game out of the lot? Croatia-Spain.
Yeah, it sounds.
What do you guys make of Spain? Because obviously they ain't had the greatest of tournaments, but then
5-0
when they needed it the most, and obviously their manager Enrique said like there's still more to come from this team. So do you reckon now that 5-0 win is going to push them on to fucking just turn it on?
Maybe they've got
he kind of has to say that, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? He has to back his boys. Like, I can't make them out. I don't know if they're good or not.
I mean,
it's hard. I still don't know how Thiago don't get in their midfield.
This would be a test for them. Like if they beat Croatia, they go on to most likely play France because I can't see France backing off now with Switzerland being there. Yeah, but I think now's the time where they need to wake up and sort of smell coffee because People are underestimating Spain. I think yesterday showed that as well. They are underestimating them. I'm not saying Slovakia are the best team in the world, but now they've got a point to prove. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go around the quick table, and I'm just going to ask who you think's next. What you think the quarterfinals are going to be? So Miller, I'll go to you first. So just go one by one, pick 4 out of each side. I don't want semis, obviously, because we're not there yet. But
so you're saying so?
So just pick who you think the games. So for example, I'll go. I think it'll be Belgium.
Next round.
Yeah, Belgium, Italy, and then France, Spain. And then I think it will be, I'm going to be confident and say I think it will be England, Sweden, and Wales, Netherlands. Probably the, I'm going for Austria. But yeah,
Can you imagine that?
The tough one out of that is probably Belgium, Portugal, because no one can call that at the moment. Belgium are on fire. Portugal haven't been bad, but if it weren't for Pinaldo, they would have probably been out yesterday. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Belgium, I think. Mildog?
No,
probably going to echo what I said.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no point. I literally was just going to do the exact same, mate. I think that's probably the most realistic shout, to be honest with you, mate. So
there's no real. That's the thing, because there's
I've got a few that might be a bit.
Yeah, I've got differences. Yeah.
Go on then, Lee. Go on, Lee, and then we'll get Normans.
I'm going to go for Portugal. I think they'll beat Belgium. Yeah, Italy, France, Croatia, Sweden, England, Netherlands, Denmark.
See, mine's pretty much exactly the same as that. I reckon Portugal are going to beat Belgium. The rest of I think Spain are going to beat Croatia, and then I think Czech Republic are going to beat Holland.
Czech Republic beating Holland. That's a big shout. That is a very big shout.
Yeah, but who was the first game with Netherlands where they where it was up 3-2? Was that Slovakia? No, who would they play?
They was in a group with they had North Macedonia and stuff, didn't they? I think didn't they have the dead group? Oh no, they had. I think it was Finland, and I can't remember who the other two were. Was it Finland? It
was 3-2 though, wasn't it? It was 3-2 to Holland. They scored in like the last minute or something.
They won all their games.
I just think Holland have a fucking terrible manager, and they're going to come unstuck at some point just because of that.
Yeah, there you go. Austria, Ukraine. I was right. Austria, Ukraine, and North Macedonia.
Austria, and was it Ukraine then? Was it Ukraine that?
I could see Holland getting to the semis, to be fair, but I don't think.
Yeah, their first game was
getting past that.
They beat North Macedonia 3-0, Austria 2-0, and then Ukraine 3-2.
I like the look of their striker, Schick. Is his name Schick?
Yeah.
He's for Czech, isn't he? Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think if he turns it on, mate, and they've got obviously Kufau and Souček as well.
Yeah, I can see some people are still tuned in, so make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Just a quick one from Chris there. If England win, do you rest players versus Sweden or Ukraine? Whoever?
Not a chance, no. I understand what he means about players looking leggy, but I don't think you can take the risk. It's a knockout tournament.
The thing is, though, you say that though, but I think we've got the depth in our squad that if we rested someone, it wouldn't actually matter. If you take out Sterling and put in Rashford, it's not actually that much of a difference.
It's just like what Italy did, isn't it?
Look at Italy. Italy changed like their whole bloody starting 11, and I mean they managed to survive, all right.
But that's because they're already through. Do you know what I mean?
If you take out Calvin Phillips and put in Henderson, it's not a massive thing. If you take out obviously the two that have been starting the competition, if you take out Mings and put in Maguire, it's not a massive difference. The left back, right
I thought that made quite a big difference the other night, personally.
Yeah, but if you take out Luke Shaw and you put in
bring it out.
Chilwell. Yeah, I like Mings.
I think Stones and Maguire is a given. Stones Maguire is definitely a given at the back.
How long are the two Chelsea lads out for?
I think they're back in training Monday. They'll go back in training Monday.
Monday. Yeah. They won't start Tuesday. No way they're starting Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to start if they've had to isolate.
Not against Germany. If it was a group stage game, then yeah, but you can't. They'll be back in train. They'd have trained for one day, 24 hours. Like it's.
So for them boys, they've got to hope we get through.
Frank Lampard was saying, like with Mason Mount, that he reckons he might start. Because he was saying, well, I wouldn't start him personally, but he was saying that the type of person that Mason Mount is, he's so fit. He only needs one training session to slot straight back in. But I don't believe mate, because the way that Grealish draws fouls, especially against Germany, like and you get someone like Trippier on the ball whipping him in if he starts, or someone like that just whipping him in. I just think you need to start him, but you never know. You never know with Gareth Southgate, do you? You think like, oh, he's going to start him, and then next thing you know, fucking Troy Deeney's up top.
He always brings a surprise in the selection.
Troy Deeney. Yeah, I think it will. I'm backing that. I'd probably back the same lineup he put out Tuesday, front three with Grealish behind, but Foden is probably going to come in instead of Saka.
I'd have liked to see more of Bellingham. Against
I would like to see the centre mid. I would like to see the centre mid switched up a little bit. I feel like there's been a bit of a drop off from Rice and Phillips since the first game.
Yeah. It's obviously a different ball game. Germany have got a cracking midfield as well.
They've got that. But then, realistically, Southgate ain't changes the way he plays, is he? He's going to keep that two defensive partnership probably together for that game.
Yeah. And you can't blame him for that, really. It's working in a way.
Dean's asked here, who do we think is going to make the final?
Around the table, go on.
I'll go. I think it will be England, Italy.
I'm actually going to say the same as you, Dan.
I was going to say the same as well, which annoys me. But
I'm only saying that because
I was going to say the same as well.
I'm torn between Italy and France, but
the ball is in our court because Italy and France are on the same side of the run-in. We're so lucky because otherwise there's no way we're in that final. But
I think whoever wins out of England and Germany, I think will get to the final.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Hope,
England-Wales semi. Come on. England-Wales semi-final. I'm in London. I'm going London for that. I want to be right in the middle of London. Absolutely.
I think it'll be England-Netherlands semi, to be honest. But
yeah, it could be. I don't even know who Netherlands have got anymore. I don't really know anyone in their team anymore. I mean, obviously Depay's the main one. But
Depay, Wijnaldum, that Dumfries is looking good for him.
Dumfries is decent. I've just put him in my fantasy team actually.
Yeah.
Dean's going with Portugal, England. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Portugal
wing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want that because I know for a fact the inevitable will happen.
I feel like Portugal are really arrogant this tournament as well. They came out even pre-tournament. They're going about how this could be their best Portugal team of all time. Like talking about their golden generation. Fuck off.
They nearly bloody went out. Them in Germany.
Don't hear it. Yeah. Don't hear it. Stay humble.
Like
they've got a good team, but they are very and Bruno Fernandes just basically sums up Portugal. They just moan 24/7.
They're very unlikable.
Right, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this with Calvert-Lewin? Obviously, we spoke about Kane. We're all tired of sort of going over the same problem that he's firing blanks. If he doesn't give anything after an hour to bring on Calvert-Lewin, his aerial threat against Hummels and with Foden and Rashford running off him could get us the goals. Rashford's a very big call. I think it's obvious from Germany's first game that they struggle with a bit of pace. I mean, Mbappe, right? Remember Mbappe sprinting at Hummels. Hummels looked like he was running through concrete. He was struggling. I don't know. It's just another comment about Kane, and you just know it's not going to happen. Yeah, I think he will take him off. He took him off on Tuesday, but I think that was more to do with resting him.
It's group stage.
I don't think he was doing it A lot of people said, "Oh, fair play for taking Kane off." I don't think it was tactical. I think it was a case of just we didn't need him. Freshen him up.
This is what I said on one of our other podcasts before the Euros. The only thing I kind of thought about Gareth Southgate's decision on who he took as a striker thing was Calvert-Lewin and Kane. is that they're both the same sort of player. Like Calvert-Lewin
Yeah.
hasn't really got much pace, and neither's Kane. So, like, if you play against like a Germany, like you said, where Hummels is running through concrete, you haven't got someone like a rapid striker. Like, I mean, Ollie Watkins is quite quick. Do you know what I mean? Like someone to put him on for the last 10 minutes. I know you could put Sterling in there, and Rashford's got a bit of pace as well. I guess maybe he thought that Greenwood would be that player, but I think that's the only down thing I would say about that is that he didn't really bring a striker that he can put on last 10 minutes when Hummels is fucking blowing out of his arsehole.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we've got players around him to do that. I suppose so with your Rashford, Saka, even Foden's a bit quick, isn't he? Sancho's got a bit of pace if he ever gets used. So yeah, there's definitely players around him.
That's when you bring Calvert-Lewin on because the leap that guy has, he can flick it onto.
It's insane. Yeah.
If
you're chasing a game in last 10, you're 1-0 down. He's a great shout to bring on, definitely.
Game changer, isn't he?
Lump it into the box.
I still don't get why it's a 5 pin. Did you know, the last 16? I swear at first it was meant to be held in Rome, wasn't it? I think.
Don't know.
Oh, yeah, because I wondered why it was at 5 o'clock. I think beforehand it was playing in Italy and they've changed it. But yeah, I just wanted to figure out if people thought that as well. Maybe I read something wrong. But for those of you that are tuned in, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed. Hit the button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to probably be back at some point at the end of this week doing a transfer talk. But yeah, a nice little 2-day break from Euros, and then it's all to play for on Saturday. We've given you your thoughts, our thoughts. Give us yours. Scotty boys, good to have you on, mate. Sorry we left you a little bit. Sorry we left you in the background for a little bit.
I love how smiley he is today.
We'll take
Carol
it.
Smiley over it.
But yeah, we'll be back soon, and let's hope we do the Germans. And yeah, there were 10 German bombers in the air.
From English, shut one down.
Shut one down. See you later, gang.